Scarlett's traveling through Syria. She's trying to get to something historic, but it's illegal, and if they catch her, she knows she'll die. But she's okay with it. Apologies for the Batman voice, I'm a little bit sick. She has a friend there who conveniently has a tunnel in his house, a big hole on the wall that connects to a creepy historic tunnel, and he sleeps there, in that house. Nope. They go in and we hear government alarms and warnings. They're gonna blow it up. This open museum of sorts. The guy tells her, we're too late, we're not gonna make it. But Scarlett wants to keep going, which is totally fair except for the fact that Scarlett was checking out oranges at the bazaar like 20 minutes ago. But anyway, she reaches a writing on the wall, breaks it open even though there are explosives everywhere, and she could just trigger a huge collapse, but hey, lucky her. She enters it and finds a creepy ass looking bowl with even more writings on it. Turns out she's looking for the Philosopher's Stone, which I'm pretty sure Dumbledore has, but anyway. She then somehow escapes through a huge ass explosion inside a tunnel. No idea how she did that, and she has no scars, which makes zero sense because her name is Scarlett. And even though they blew up the other side of the hole, I'm still not convinced that the hole is safe. That shit will attract, I don't know, that people or that creepy bowl, for instance. It will come through there. We then see Scarlett give an interview in front of what is clearly an archaeology site where people look for items of sorts. And her cameraman, Benji, has the decency to tell the guy to go off and do his job elsewhere. Anyway, Benji asks Scarlett that there were speculations that her dad had lost his mind, whether it's true, and she goes, why? Because he killed himself? Okay, first of all, Scarlett, that wasn't the question. 2 PhDs, 1 master's degree, and this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Diploma really doesn't mean jack shit anymore, does it? But I get it. She's at it to reference the hanging man she saw during the tunnel explosion scene, meaning that was her dad. What I don't get is, did the camera capture it or did she imagine it? Because those are 2 distinctive scenarios. Since this is a found footage, it must be real. And that is really messed up, and the fact that she doesn't even second guess it or try to question it or rewatch it or even show it to Benji like, look man, look what I saw the other night is beyond me. Okay, so Nicholas Flamel was living in Paris, but for some reason this bowl that she calls Rose Key, which allegedly gives information of where the stone is, was in Iran. I guess Nicholas, when he was sitting at home with his red stone, decided, you know what, this is boring, let me send out a bowl with a cryptic message on it somewhere in Iran, just for funsies. And that's what he did that summer. They go to George, who's fixing church clocks illegally all around the world, also for funsies. And I gotta say, that's pretty fucking cool. I wonder what he does for a living though. George says something like, look at these people hearing their church bell for the first time in 285 years. And that makes no sense. None of these people are 285 years old. But anyway, they go to the museum again, to check out the back of Nick's gravestone. And then they put some Kleenex on it that was just lying around. Then Benji, a non-smoker, has matches with him, so he pulls them out. They burn it and find a hidden message. Pretty cool. And I get how Scarlett knows all these historical things. She's got PhDs, her father's research. Makes sense. But George knows shit too. And it's so random. Like he knows 3 different sinkhole collapses that happened in Paris. Exact dates, streets, everything. I can't imagine it's a great icebreaker, but then again, who am I to know? I'm no church clock repairman. Maybe he goes to chicks like Scarlett and whispers, hey, you know that street over there? In 1871, it collapsed into a sinkhole. Hundreds of people dead, just like that. You never know when the next sinkhole is gonna strike, girl, so maybe we should hang sometime. They figure that the stone is somewhere in the catacombs by dividing 741 by 2, because 741 is a devil's number, apparently. I always thought it was 666, and once divided, they get to 370 feet. Underneath Nick's grave, that's where the stone is exactly. Okay, so yeah, the catacombs. Scarlett and Benji go with the tour guide first to look around and see where exactly they need to go. Some random dude appears and tells them about this other dude at a club, and they're immediately like, okay, sure, thanks for that hint. Not at all sus that you've almost appeared out of thin air or that you disappeared without making a sound. You know what? F it, let's just find this Pap guy the ghost was talking about. Things get weirder in the nightclub when this woman keeps staring them down, and she's walking down the street, but then She too disappears into nothing. And Benji's recording all this, but I feel like he's not pointing to the "holy shit, I saw a ghost twice" thing, so nobody really cares. I love the van prep scene of the gang though. It felt so insanely natural and improvised. Like I'm pretty sure they said just do whatever and we'll use what we can, because that felt like genuine fun. Except for George, he's a party pooper. Since they realized, that they need to get to the catacombs, George has been nothing but a pain in our asses. He's been telling Scarlett that he's not going. And when I say telling, it's not like once or twice. He continues for like the next several 5 to 10 minutes. Every time, even when he's not on screen, you'll hear him say, "I'm not going, you know that, right? Like, don't forget, Scarlett, I'm not coming with." And Scarlett's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." He even ends up walking them to the illegal entrance of the catacombs, saying, "I'll walk you guys down there, but then I'm out." Even though Pap literally said like 10 seconds ago that police could be watching and that they might have to make a run for it. George is a genius when it comes to old clocks and the history of sinkholes, but he can't put 2 and 2 together of "I can't walk them there." Hi, subscribe and like the video now to proceed to the next part of the video. Actually, no, that was a stupid joke. It'll just keep playing anyway. You don't have to, but you could, thanks. And of course, police show up, so George immediately jumps down. He's the first, because he's been to a Turkish prison. Last thing he wants is to go to a French prison. They throw a couple of smoke bombs to lose the cop, and I think that was totally unnecessary, because I'm pretty sure that the cop doesn't get paid enough to follow you guys down there. And he was probably like, "Nah, that dude, I'm not going down there." We found out that George's brother drowned in a cave, which is why he has some sort of claustrophobia or, trauma. He doesn't seem claustrophobic at all, so I guess he just doesn't like caves. I wish they checked out the cool room on the other side that Pap mentions while they're down there. Then again, what could it look like? Stones? There are strange women singing down here, and Benji doesn't recognize the girl from the nightclub leading the choir, because that's pretty messed up. I don't think it's a coincidence. I'm pretty sure those guys are singing some black magic stuff to curse you guys. But okay, I honestly think Benji was too passive. We got to see all these weird people appearing and disappearing, and we know shit's messed up, but he could have also showed some worry rather than just being cool with it. They need to crawl through bones, because the shortcut Scarlett is pointing at is believed to be cursed, and Benji gets stuck while trying to crawl. And I think that scene was seriously good. It was scary. It made me feel claustrophobic. But then suddenly one of the bones decided to hit him in the face like a little "F you, man, that's my arm." And that was pretty funny, not gonna lie. The narrow bone passage starts to collapse as Benji's still trying to pass, and he's like, "Save the camera, just grab the camera, forget about me." And I get it, expensive gear is expensive. If my camera doesn't make it, I don't want to make it. But then the twist comes, when they pass through that passageway, they end up at this exact same spot where they started, with that cursed tunnel that was blocked with stones. Except this time they can't even go back because it was collapsed. So now they have to enter this cursed tunnel that Pab was avoiding. Once inside, things start to immediately get weird. A phone is ringing in the distance, and except for Pab, nobody seems to be freaking out. Guys? Hello? We're in the catacombs underground. We just went through a straight line and ended up in the same place. How about we stop being so chill? They continue looking around and find a piano, and it's the exact one George and his brother used to play. Scarlett then is rushing to the ringing phone, like she knows it's for her. Could never be me. I never get called. But anyways, a weird voice on the phone says, "Why won't you talk to me, Scarlett?" But also starts moaning and making all these creepy ass sounds, and suddenly Latop appears, the guy Pap was talking about who had disappeared inside this tunnel years ago. And he's very upset that they're all here. He's like, "You shouldn't be here, none of you." And he seems also genuinely disturbing. Pap asks him if he's okay. And no, he isn't, Pap. You realize this guy's been down here for years, right? You said it. How can he be okay? How about the piano and the phone? Anybody remember those events that just happened? We're gonna trust this random dude who's definitely a demon of sorts. He tells them to follow him because he'll show them the way out. But then Suxi asks an insanely well question, I think should be talked about more. How can he see down here? Like, that takes a cake, guys. We can already rule out that he's a human. Let's not follow him. Let's look for a different way. At one point, Scarlet says, I think I'm sure. And that's not how sure works, Scarlet. When you think you're sure, you're not really sure. Weird things continue to happen when they can't hear for a while, randomly see a little kid for a split second, and they end up in a dead-end room, and Latoop is like, oops, I thought this was the way out, you guys. Well, sucks to be you, because I'm a demon anyway. Somehow, they figure out an Egyptian code, mainly Scarlet and George. The others are just getting a free win, basically. They need to remove a stone. If it's the wrong one, they die. Can you guess what happened next? I mean, we're still in the middle of the movie, so obviously they weren't gonna die, but it was exciting anyway. It was really great acting. They find Nick's dead body. No, not Nick Cage, Nicholas Flanell. And that begs the question, what will you do with a useless philosopher's stone? The guy's dead, meaning the stone didn't grant him eternal life, so what now? Scarlet then decides to cave dive, and I'm just gonna say, nope, would have never done that. And the others follow. Okay. That's weird. What if she got sucked into a deadly water thingy or a trap of sorts? Literally none of them give a shit. They just go in one by one, even though they could all be dying in that moment. Cool. Then they all celebrate like they aren't hundreds of feet down Earth right now. Like, gold, yay, we rich now. Nah, you're all gonna die. Not gonna lie though, the way Scarlet tells mythological stories is so captivating. I swear, she could open a YouTube channel and talk about this shit and I'd watch it. She tells the story of the sun being born every single day and shows the philosopher's stone. Meanwhile, the gang breaks the treasure room door, but of course it's a trap. And the philosopher's stone being removed doesn't trigger a trap. Really? I mean, it's more valuable than the treasure itself, even if someone were to miss it due to the treasure, the way Scarlet narrates it. Wouldn't it be safer to just add a trap for both? Literally a no-brainer. But anyway, the ceiling collapses. Suxi's hurt, Latope is gone, and you can clearly hear Hap and George kind of having fun in the background. This is not a joke. Hap says, we can't move the rocks, we can't. And he continues to say, there's no use. There's no use. And he's serious, but George kind of mocks him and goes, no use, Papillion? And he's like, no. This conversation takes place literally as Suxi is bleeding out, by the way. I feel like they were making fun of each other there for a moment, but because it's all so chaotic, the editors maybe left it in the movie. They didn't care. I don't know. Scarlet uses the stone on Suxi's arm and the scar disappears. Again, pretty cool shit. As they're trying to look for a way out, Scarlet does another cool explanation and she says, as above, so below. And hey, that's the movie. Meaning, as I am, so is the world, or some shenanigans. But basically, she does some Resident Evil puzzle solving and figures out if there's a door on the ceiling, there's gotta be one on the floor. And she breaks some stone pathway on the ground that was hidden by muddy water. So once again, they go down. This is like the fourth time or something. They've been only going down, basically. Isn't there some phenomenon happening with ear pressure? Does that only happen in water? They end up entering what is supposedly Hell's Gate through this very narrow path and arrive in the exact same place they were before, but everything is mirrored. And now the horror begins. Granted, the horror has been happening, but this will be the intense part. They swim back, basically retracing their steps in reverse-ish. As they go through the water, something super weird happens. Lots of noise and camera effects. No idea what's going on, but once they're outside, they're all okay. Nobody felt anything. And there he is, Latoop. He's breathing like he enjoys his cereal with human souls. But Suxi approaches him, and then Latoop does a jump scare. Super scary stuff. He literally screams at them, and that's usually code for stay the fuck back. But Suxi, who doesn't understand basic human communication, still tries to approach him, and of course, Latoop bashes her head in. I'm sorry, Suxi, but that's what you get when you approach a creepy-ass dude who jump scares you. That's literally basic survival instinct 101. They try to save her with the stone, but Scarlet says it won't work on the dead. So they leave her behind and start going deeper and deeper into Earth. They come to this 100 feet drop, and I feel like ears should start popping by now, not gonna lie. Benji is the last to go. He hears a baby cry from afar, and also we see a creepy woman walk from behind him. He's suspicious that someone is there, because he asks if someone is there. And instead of immediately jumping down, because it could be Latube, you know, that head bashing guy, he instead picks up the camera to film whoever is probably gonna attack him. And I fully expected the jump scare, I did, but it caught me off anyway. I think it was because of the loudness. Benji falls down the tunnel and dies. Okay, so we've officially entered that horror movie phase where people gotta act a little bit stupid in order to start dying. First Suxi, now Benji. The movie also has favorites. For instance, whereas Suxi and Benji got killed immediately, George sees his brother like a warning of sorts. Same with Papillion though. No warning. He sees a burning car and bam, dead. Though with him, it wasn't even lack of common sense. He literally had no chance. I remember how I was upset that Benji never cared about the random ghosts he'd been recording. Well, one of those ghosts just pulled Pap into a burning car. Thanks, Benji. I swear, the screams during these scenes were insanely well executed and disturbing though. If you believe in hell, you probably got spooked. And if you don't believe in hell, you probably still got spooked and thought about having a quick prayer, you know, just in case. George confesses to Scarlett that the week in Turkey was the greatest week in his life, and Scarlett agrees. Well, duh, she had fun, and at the end, the guy ended up in prison, so no strings attached. The perfect 1 week fling. But on a more serious note, I really thought George was going to kiss Scarlett here. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but maybe it counts as lust. Imagine committing one of the 7 sins while in hell. Like, he would not have gotten out of there, man. I think the director caught on to that and made them not kiss, because that was 100% a kiss moment. They find a dude in black clothing just sitting on a chair watching rocks. Is he Satan? One of the torturers? Who knows? He's creepy as f***. Run, guys. One of the rock people then attacks them and they go straight for George's neck. Were they rock vampires? That shit seemed intentional. Like, you can tell the guy was thirsty. Then Scarlett tries the Philosopher's Stone, but it's not working. George says vitriol, and I ended up Googling it because I have no idea how Scarlett started doing math and mythological reasoning, but somehow she realizes this is not the right stone since they're in the, well, upside down, kind of. Scarlett decides, oh, f it, I'll just speed run through hell like it's some Dying Light game on easy mode, find the right stone and come back. She also climbs up a hole by just pulling on a cable, and I can't even fathom, like, that must have been, I mean, I do pull-ups, and I don't think I can pull myself up 30-something meters. One pull might be, what, like half a meter at best? 60 pulls? Okay. Also, I don't know how she remembers each pathway perfectly in a dark place like that, with a little flashlight on her head, running at that high speed. But anyway, she sees a hanging man again, thinks it's her dad, but nope, just some random woman jump scaring her. It's not even about hell or sins anymore. She just gets bombarded by scary stuff like bloody rivers and weird moving images on the ground for no reason. She leaves the stone in its place and expects a new stone to appear, and then she sees her image in the round mirror and realizes something. It looks meaningful, but I have no idea what she realizes. Later on in the river with the bloody hands, she just says, as above so below, as I see the world, so it is, and they disappear. But this is hell, not Earth. Does that mean anyone who goes to hell can just say, nah, I don't believe in this fire, not here, hell, nope, this is heaven actually, easy peasy baby? Like, didn't Papillion do exactly that? He said, no, this wasn't my fault when he saw the burning car. So should that not immediately be like, oh well, if he sees it that way, then it must be so, and not get killed? Yeah, well, Papillion wasn't the main actor, so screw him, I guess. Anyway, in the meantime, Zed is having the worst time of his life dragging George while trying to avoid stone vampires and shit. Scarlett once again sees her dad hanging, but this time it's not a jump scare. Why? I don't know. But she apologizes and releases her guilt or something, and voila, it's done. She's free now. Then she ends up actually kissing George to heal him, and at that point George is not making any sound and seems super dead, but because Scarlett is the stone now, I guess, she can bring him back or something. I don't know. This part is very blurry, and you know, let's just assume it works, it's fine, kind of. Also, sin is not the reason why they die or suffer, I guess. It's their guilt for some reason. So once they confess their own guilt, they're free to go. Except for the others. I mean, let's face it, we gotta kill some of them. If everyone escaped, it would have been a boring movie. It would have been like Stranger Things. But why did Zed also escape? Well, so it doesn't look cliche where only the two main characters escape. And George wants to stay behind instead of trying to get out by jumping through yet another very very deep hole. And I get the sentiment, I do. He's gotten used to this place. It's hell, it's warm, but where else is there to go, man? Is possibly dying really that much worse than whatever those demons back there are? They do evidently jump down, and it's like this wormhole. It's sort of a trip where they're being cleansed-ish, and they arrive in what seems like a dead end, and Zed is freaking out. He's losing it. But Scarlet, she's calm. She knows that when in doubt, just try to find another hole below. And she does exactly that, and would you look at that, there's a manhole but in reverse that opens to the real world. They push it down and climb out of it, and gravity is normal again. If this was daylight and someone saw them leave there, that would have been pretty funny to see, I think. You know, strangers just staring them down. Like, what the hell are they doing? Though I did appreciate the calm of the night too, after all those hellish screams especially. What happens to the manhole now, though? They literally found a gate that leads straight to hell-ish, right? Also, if someone were to jump in, would they get sucked into that wormhole and end up in hell, or nothing happens? Weird. So many questions remain, but ultimately, this was overall a solid horror movie and remains as one of my favorites to this day. Okay, so I was actually continuing writing my script, and in the roll credits, I heard the only way out is down. Literally, randomly, George just said that. Okay, cool. Thanks for that mini jump scare, George. But anyway, thanks for watching Fax Machine 9000.